meeting, and since there are no items in the work agenda, items for the work session this evening, we're going to go ahead and move on into the council meeting portion, and we'll call it to order, and the invocation will be given by Council Member Gant, and the pledge will be given by Council Member Jones.
Dear Lord, we thank you for this day. We thank you for the opportunity to come together as a city. We ask you to be with us as we handle the business of this city. We ask you to look over the people who are fortunate, less fortunate, people who are having problems in their lives. And we ask you to be with us as we handle the city's business. In Christ's name.
Amen. I
pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you. Roll call.
Councilmember Robbins.
Here.
Gill.
Here.
Thornton. Here. Gant.
Here.
Jones.
Here. Thank you. You received in your packets the approval of minutes from the council meeting held on September the 12th, 2016. Any corrections? Do we have a motion for approval?
Motion to approve.
Thank you for the motion. Do we have a second?
Second.
Thank you, sir. All in favor, let it be known saying aye. Aye. Anyone opposed? So those minutes have been approved. Under old business, resolution number 2016-9-12-1, permission to incorporate a Wetumpka Downtown Redevelopment Authority to revitalize and redevelop the central business district of the city for the public good and general welfare, trade, commerce, industry, and employment opportunities. Is there a motion for approval of this resolution?
Mayor, I'd like to do a second reading of that.
Okay, if you would.
So that we can put in the terms for initial board members. Wetumpka Downtown Redevelopment Authority, whereas this council of the city of Wetumpka was petitioned by 3 natural persons who are duly qualified electors of the city of Wetumpka for authority to incorporate and organize a public corporation pursuant to the provisions of Act Number 85-693, enacted by the 1985 regular session of the legislature of the state of Alabama, approved May 29, 1985, and heretofore and hereafter amended or supplemented as codified in Code of Alabama section 11-54A-1, etc. And whereas the purpose of the authority shall be the revitalization and redeveloping the central business district of the city and thereby promote for the public good and general welfare, trade, commerce, industry, and employment opportunities, and promoting the general welfare of the city and state by creating a climate favorable to the location of new industry, trade, and commerce. And whereas the council finds that the activities of such an authority would complement efforts by the Wetumpka Area Chamber of Commerce and Wetumpka Downtown, a nonprofit corporation, in revitalizing and preserving historic downtown Wetumpka and the city as a whole. And whereas the council further finds that it's wise, expedient, and necessary that the proposed authority be formed, now therefore be it resolved in the city council of the city of Wetumpka that the applicants are hereby authorized to proceed to form the authority by the filing for record a certificate of incorporation in accordance with the state statute and the following provisions. Section 1, Board of Directors. The Board of Directors shall consist of 3 members who shall be elected by the council of the city of Wetumpka, Alabama, under a place system for staggered terms not to exceed 6 years. The initial board shall be established with directors being appointed for 2 years, 4 years, and 6-year term. Therefore, thereafter, each term will be 6 years. The term for the initial board shall be deemed to begin on October 1st, 2016. Prior to the expiration of the term of any director or upon a vacancy, the board of directors may propose a slate of candidates equal to or greater than the number of prospective vacancies said candidates to be qualified under the applicable sections of the Alabama Code for appointment by the City Council of the City of Wetumpka, Alabama. Section 2, Financial Statements. The authority shall maintain or cause to be maintained full and true books and records of its financial affairs. Within 90 days after the end of each such fiscal year, the authority shall prepare or cause to be prepared full and true statements in accordance with the standards of Governmental Accounting Standards Board of its financial affairs as of the end of the year of this fiscal year. 3, audits. The annual financial statements of the authority required in section 3 shall either be included in the annual audit of the city of Wetumpka books and accounts, or audited each year by an independent certified public accounting for recognized standing thereof, or an auditor who is regularly employed by the state examiner of public accounts and the cost thereof may be treated as part of the cost of operation. Section 4, annual report to the council. Within 120 days after the close of each fiscal year, the authority shall make an annual report of its activities for the preceding fiscal year to the governing body of the municipality. Each annual report shall include at a minimum a copy of the financial statements together with the auditor's report thereon, the budget for the current fiscal year. Section 5, appointment of initial board of directors. The persons who are hereby appointed to the initial board of directors of the authority and their terms are as follows: Judge Ronald Drinkard, 2-year term; Janice G. Horton, 4-year term; Tucker Robinson, 6-year term. So you get adopted.
We've heard the reading of the resolution. Do we have a motion to move forward with approval?
Mayor, I'd like to offer a motion to amend the actual.
That's not what I'm
resolution.
looking for.
That's what I'm asking. That's what I'm asking.
Let me move forward. Do we have a motion to move forward with adoption of the resolution as presented?
Motion to adopt the resolution as presented.
Okay, we have a motion. Do we have a second?
Second.
Okay, we have a second. Any discussion?
Yes, Mayor, I'd like to offer a substitute motion to actually offer a friendly amendment to the motion. And that amendment in section 1 of the resolution where you have board of directors, I would like that friendly amendment to read: the board of directors shall consist of 5 members who shall be elected by the council of the city of Wetumpka and reflect the diversity of the city. I would like to add that to the motion.
The person that proposed the motion would have to agree to the friendly amendment, otherwise the council would have to vote on the amendment.
Councilman Gregg, do you accept my friendly amendment?
Okay, I just have one question. It says that those 3 people came forward, were they recruited by the city or did they incorporate on their own?
They came to me and told me they wanted to be involved.
Okay.
We've been talking about doing this redevelopment authority for years, and there's certain things that the redevelopment authority can do that can help the city, but the city cannot do. And one of those is, we would be qualified then to do an entertainment district, which we can't do now. By having a redevelopment authority, that would allow us to do that if we otherwise qualify, which we don't right this moment, because we don't have enough licensed, ABC licensed people downtown that allow us to do that. But that could be something that we can do in the future that would really greatly increase traffic flow into the downtown area and make it a lot more, nicer for people to come downtown.
Okay, since those 3 people came forward on their own and they became a corporation, is that correct?
Well, they're being petitioning the council to allow them to create a public corporation. That's the step they have to go through.
Okay, I think if I add or take away from anything, I'm taking away from their work that I don't have any problem with, and I stand by my motion to adopt this resolution as presented to the council.
Can I ask the city attorney a question?
Yes, sir.
Mayor, does it adversely affect what this board is doing by adding 2 additional members to the board? And then what's the process of those 3 people coming before? Because again, I had no knowledge of these 3 people prior to it being presented at council. So how does that work? How does other people have the opportunity to participate?
Okay. Ronald Drinkard came to me. He had served on the initial redevelopment authority for the city of Montgomery. And it was basically, I guess, his idea that started the whole process. And then Tucker Robinson came to me and said he was very interested in serving on this board and being part of this because he had been in real estate sales and development for a number of years, so he had a lot of background in that area. Plus, he was a citizen of the city. And of course, Janice Horton said that she would be willing to participate because of her background in city and local government and the financing side of it. Because one of the things that the authority could potentially do in the future would be to issue bonds, to secure funds, to purchase buildings and that sort of thing. So they all had something to bring to the table that would be really good on this initial setup of the board. As far as having other members, that is strictly up to the council on how many members that they would want to have. After the 2 years, there will be a vacancy on the board, and then of course after 4 years, there will be another vacancy. From then on, the actual selection process would be, of course, by the council again, and they would be for 6-year terms. So it's, I can't tell you it's advisable or inadvisable to have more members. It's a question of how many people you can think will work together and have common goals for this development authority. That's really a decision the council would have to make.
So there's nothing to prevent adding
there's nothing that would inhibit this board from doing their fiduciary responsibility if you added 2 more members to the board.
There's nothing legally that would inhibit that.
And you can also ask, do you know why the rest of the community was not notified that there was an opportunity to serve on this particular board?
Well-
Who has that responsibility to notify the general public that there's an opportunity?
That's not the way it works. The way these boards are created is when you have someone in the community that wants to start one of the redevelopment authorities, or there's commercial districts, there's different things that they can start. This is a public corporation, and the statute says it has to be 3 citizens have to come forward and petition the council for approval to do this.
Okay, so when you say come forward and petition the council, I haven't heard these 3 citizens come before the council to petition us. So I don't know who was petitioned. That's the problem that I have, that I'm not aware of who these 3 members petitioned to incorporate this particular board. So if I was aware of that, we would have an opportunity to say, okay, three citizens came, and they were citizens who were actually voting members of the city. They came before the council to petition us. That would change the dynamics of this conversation. But that process did not happen. So the process that did happen is that we received something in our minutes saying 3 people, 3 citizens wanted to incorporate a downtown redevelopment authority. My question is, why can't we expand that number to allow other citizens who may wish to serve on that board an opportunity to do so?
I think the questions are becoming repetitious.
No, that's not a
It's the
repetitious
same
question.
thing
That's
over
not,
and over.
she's not answering.
We've
Mayor, she
spoken-
did not answer that question.
We
so
have
that's not
spoken to this, we've spoken to this 3 times now.
No, we have not.
We
spoken to
have
it.
a motion and we have a second on this issue.
So Mayor, why would you not want the board to be reflective of the diversity of the city? Can you answer that question?
Question.
I'm talking to the mayor.
Okay,
I'm calling
the
for-
question,
I'm talking to the
the
mayor.
question is calling for the vote to take
Mayor, I
place.
asked you a question. Would
So
you
the
not give me
vote
the
is
respect?
this. We have
Would
a
you not give
motion,
me
we have a
respect to answer
second.
my question?
Mayor,
Son.
you need to vote on.
Son, I'm not your son. Please,
I
I'm not your
I
son.
didn't-
That's what you said. I'm not your
I
son.
didn't mean to.
Thank you.
Say son.
Okay.
I was fixing to refer to this because someone has removed my gavel. That's where I was going with this
So will you not
conversation.
answer my question?
That was not the
As a courtesy, would you not answer my question?
I think the questions have become repetitious.
I've asked you a
The
question,
same
Mayor.
question over and over. We're going to address this at this time. There's a motion, there's a second. Question has been called for. The question is the vote to be taken. So at this time,
At this time, you're the mayor of the city. I
Roll
would like for you to
call,
provide
roll
some
call
leadership
vote.
as to
Roll
why
call
you're not
vote.
inclusive of diversity in the city, Mayor.
call the roll.
Councilmember Robbins.
Yes.
Hill.
No.
Thornton.
Yes.
Gant.
Yes.
Jones.
Yes.
Okay, the resolution has been adopted, and this board has been approved by the council to move forward. Okay, under new business, Building Mills and Kaywood Professional Services Contract addendum approved on October 22nd, 2015, to include hourly rate for right-of-way acquisition not covered in the grant, not to exceed $20,000. And this is on the downtown redevelopment project.
Dave, do you want to speak to that?
Yes, briefly, this is tied to the roundabout that is proposed for the, it's the project number STPM N-2615, parentheses 252. This is a project that the council has approved previously in the past and has allocated money for. Right-of-way acquisition is not included in our current contract with our engineers. What this will allow us to do is begin the process to acquire this additional right-of-way that we need. There's a lot of restrictions on it because federal funds are involved. We have to comply with what's called the Uniform Relocation Assistance Act. And it's going to be a good bit of work. We're going to have some sketches drawn, and this will allow us to do that. So if there's any other questions.
Okay, any further questions on this? Do we have a motion to move forward?
So moved.
Do we have a second?
Second.
I'll take Councilman Robbins. Okay, we have a motion, we have a second. All in favor, let me know by saying aye.
Aye.
Anyone opposed? Okay, so that too has been granted. Boards and committees. Chamber of Commerce. Public comments from our citizens? Motion to adjourn?
So moved.